come to my favorite part, sewing the head to the body. This can be kind of complicated because I feel like every time I do it, the head wants to turn a bit. I line it up and everything, and then it starts to turn. So I'm going to show you how to sew it on, but then also how to combat that. That always seems to happen. So you're going to line it up how you want it. Okay, we're lining it up. That seems good. And I'm gonna push this tail down because it's kind of in the way. And you're gonna line up these stitches. You can see these stitches. You're gonna work through only the front loops of both of these, okay? So let's see, this kind of lines up this way. We're gonna go right here. And then we're gonna just keep going down. Actually, I prefer to go upwards, so I'm gonna change my technique part of the way through. So I'm just gonna go through this one and then up through there. And I can already tell that it's turning the way that I don't want it to. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of going over to this next loop here, even though they have the same number of loops, what I'm gonna do here is I'm going back through the same loop that I just went through, and I'm gonna go through the next loop on the head. And that's gonna sort of shift things. And then I'm gonna go through this next one and do it normally. And then I'm gonna do it again the same way I did this last one. I'm gonna go through the same stitch on the body and then the next stitch on the head. And then we're gonna do it normal. And we'll do it normal for a couple more and just see what effect we're having. Because if it's turning this way too much, we can also do the opposite of what we just did. Where we go through, we would go through the same one on this and two on that. We can do the opposite as well. Okay. Let's see, how's it looking? Oops. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to turn that direction. So I'm going to go through, let's see, we went through this one on this stitch, so we're going to go through this next stitch on the body, but then back through the same one on the head. Okay, and then we're going to go back normally and see what effect that's having. It's looking fairly straight, I think. Let's see, we still have quite a few stitches to go, so we will continue to monitor it. Go every few stitches. I like to check and see how it's looking. Again, just the front loops. Let's see, how's that? It looks fairly straight. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's tipping that way. So we're gonna do, we need it to come over this direction a bit more. That way. So I'm going to go through the same stitch of the pink of the body and then the next stitch on the head. And then going through these stitches here. Let's see, I think we're looking good. It's looking okay. All right, and the next one, And as you get closer, see, we've only got this much left, so we're gonna start stuffing that, because you just don't always, I mean, it's so open that you just don't have enough stuffing there. You can't have enough stuffing there until you've started sewing the head and the body together. So you're not able to have it be fully stuffed until you have that neck going on. I'm gonna take some smaller pieces, tuck that down into the body, because it looks kind of feels, you can kind of feel around and it's sort of like, okay, this spot feels like it's way less stuffed than this spot, and you can kind of use your hook. And if you use smaller pieces, it's a lot easier to move the stuffing around the way that you want it. Yeah, because that does feel a little bit less stuffed on that side. Yeah, it's just feeling not as stuffed as I want it to. And this also helps make the neck a lot less floppy. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. And then as we get closer, then I might see how it's feeling. It feels pretty good, pretty nicely stuffed. Okay, and the head looks fairly straight, so I'm happy with that. All right, let's do the stitch into this one. And then this next one over here. Let's see, so we have more stitches here than we have here. So we are gonna have to double up somewhere. Let's see here. We'll just kind of go with, well, I guess we kind of have 3 stitches there. We'll go with that. Let's see. Does that feel the way I want it to? Yeah. Yep. I think that looks the way that I want it to. It feels the way I want it to with the stuffing. Okay, so now it's fully sewn on, and something that you can do if it is still, like, you get to the end, you've sewn it closed, and it's turning the way you don't want it to. What you can do is, I'm not gonna fully do this because I don't want to mess up what I've just done, but what you can do is you take, so let's say it's facing, it's turning this way too much. You got it turning that way. What you can do then is you want it to pull this way more, so you take this strand, and then you, instead of going directly below, you're gonna go 1 stitch over and, you know, sew that. Go through this and then back through that same stitch, pull it tight and see what it's doing. And then just keep going that way until it is facing the way you want it to, and then weave those ends in, going back and forth quite a few times to make sure that it is, that it's staying the way that you want it to.